5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
Put a day for number 66, aka the year England last won the World Cup. 67 years, I think, since Newcastle were last either in a final or won a final. Talking football right now. And that wait will go on for at least another year. They lost today. They lost versus Manchester United, who is, a team who Newcastle know all too well, beaten many a times back when Newcastle were decent and they were battling out for Champions League places and stuff. Well, maybe not battling out for Champions League places, but dreams being crushed for Champions League places, let's say that. And today, they're going to feel that a little bit more. But they got like new owners and stuff in now, so it's like, it's all good. I think if they got into a final a few years ago and they lost it, it would kind of feel like I want to just bawl my eyes out and cry right now, because this club means so much to us, to Newcastle, to the town, and it would lift us up so much, and it feels like we'll never be in this position again, and you just want to cry your eyes out, because it's like, we actually made it and we blew it and we didn't take it and it will never happen again. But now it's kind of like, it's depressing and it's sad, but this will happen again. Newcastle will be in more finals in the future, and they can know that now with their new ownership and the money they've got. They'll be in more finals. They'll be in more competitive positions in the Prem itself. So it's disappointing, but it will come. It will come. A lot of sports related things happening, man. If you want to call it sport. I mean, I know some boxing people, they don't even want to acknowledge it. It's not fucking sport. Anything involving Jake Paul, fucking Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, they don't want to hear it. But look, he's fighting a real boxer now. And to be fair, a lot of people don't give him any credit for like the fights he has had, because they're not technically boxers. But like, and I don't know fuck all about boxing. Let me just get that clear right now, because I don't know, I probably won't even pronounce half these people's names right. But like, Tyrone Woodley, like, yeah, he's not a boxer. He's like UFC, but like, wasn't he like a champion or like a heavyweight champ or something for a couple of years? Something. He was decent. He's got a chin on him apparently. Like, he's a hard guy and he looks it. That knockout was so cold. Like, I don't care. Even if he never fought a day in his life, even. No. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, even if like the way he's just built, it's impressive. Kind of the way he sleep. Like, I've seen a lot of people get knocked out in this YouTube boxing stuff, and even in like actual boxing. And it's like, sometimes you see a knockout and it's like, oh, they knocked him out and they stumbled down and they try and scramble back up and the referees are off and this and that. This was like a full-on, like, he was out. Like, he was knocked out. So like, his head hit the canvas type deal. Yeah, so out of all the YouTubey kind of events so far, that's been the best knockout I've seen. And I think technically, this is the first. Is this a YouTube fight event still, or do we now class this as an actual event? Because Jake Paul is fighting a boxer now, and if he wins, he can kind of call himself a boxer. Like, you've beaten an amateur fighter, a real fighter. You've got a record and stuff, and someone with a fair few fights on his belt from a good lineage, man. And it is embarrassing if you are Tommy Fury. Like, I think there's a chance that he's hiding more than meets the eye, maybe. Like, maybe he's very confident. Like, a lot of people think, oh, he's got no confidence in this. Jake's got knockout power. Those two things do appear to be true. But Tommy is from a fighting family, and he comes across as a bit like a dopey idiot, but I don't think he is. And like, you could argue maybe he just took this because it's like, okay, maybe I'll get laughed at the planet if I lose this. But at the end of the day, I'm getting like 3.5 M's for it, sure. But like, oh god, I just had to check the thing. It's gonna be a short episode, by the way, today, because everything's on low battery and I haven't got time to charge it. So it's probably gonna be a very short one, just talking a couple of footbally things, but sporty things. But yeah, it could. I remember when I was in like school and Conor McGregor was fighting Mayweather. Fuck the Mayweathers, right? All that was going on. And it was just like, he seemed like this intimidating guy, and I didn't know really anything about fighting, and I'm coming into it thinking, Conor McGregor is this crazy brawler, like, I see him do all this, and Floyd Mayweather's like this clean kind of guy who's like, yeah, technical, whatever, but he just looks so small. And Conor's not huge, but even Conor makes him look kind of small and stuff, and Conor's this crazy madman and stuff, and he's got all the talk. But then realistically, Mayweather is the actual boxer here, and the boxer won, and he won it quite convincingly. It's just like, it's just going to be the same. That we think, oh, Jake's got this power, and he's crazy, and he's scary, and he looks better in the press conferences. But then realistically, Tommy's a fighter who's been doing this whole life, and he'll just win. I can't lie, I want to see Jake win. I just think it's funnier. And like, it's just funnier in general. Like, it's more fun for the scene. If Tommy wins, sure, you should have won. You go and you carry on trying to become a fighter, and you just made a lot of money. Well done. If Jake wins, it's like it fucks shit up, you know. And that's kind of what you want to see. Call me the Joker. I want to see the world burn. I don't actually, but I want to see some funny stuff happen in the world. How about that? And I'd like to see it. The way I could see it going is sort of Jake looks shaky at times. He gets caught a few times. They go into some, maybe not deep rounds. I don't know how many rounds there are, but maybe Jake just catches him and that's enough. Maybe he wobbles him. Maybe it goes to a split decision. I don't know. Maybe they have a rematch. I'm not sure. But it is crazy. And like, this is by far like Tommy's biggest fight, right? And it shouldn't be. It's like Jake Paul. He's making people a lot of money right now, and it's crazy the amount of eyes he can and interest he can get into stuff, because for two separate reasons. Firstly, he's just like the way he sells himself. And I'm not going to say he's the most intelligent guy or whatever. Like, people try to act like he's a genius and stuff. I'm going to say he's the most intelligent guy, or like he has his great game plan, so he plays the villain really well. Like, sometimes he just comes across, a bit like, a bit scared even in moments, or a bit goofy, or a bit like childish or cringe or whatever. But it all adds to the second point, which is a lot of people want to see him get knocked out. So they tune into these fights. Ben Askren, knock him out. Doesn't knock him out. You know, they want to see Tyron Woodley knock him out. Doesn't knock him out. They want to see Silva knock him out. He doesn't knock him out. You know, so a lot of people will be tuning in because they want to see a real fighter actually fight Jake now and knock him out. And if he doesn't get knocked out, I think a lot of people who always want to see Jake get knocked out, even in that moment, they'll go, oh, okay, well, he's actually beaten a fighter now. Like that's a boxer. So they'll kind of actually like Jake now. Because if you're a fighter, if you're a fight fan, you're a fight fan. You're just going to like fighters. So like, if Jake beats him, he kind of proves himself as a fighter. And people have no reason now to still hate him. Because before, people hate him because they think he's a poser, he's annoying. But if he kind of proves himself as no longer a poser and just as a fighter, then you kind of lose your reason not to like him anymore. So in one moment, even though they want him to get knocked out, he can change their opinion. I just froze there because I realized I'm holding a mic, which obviously it's plugged into the laptop, and the laptop died about half an hour ago. So this hasn't been capturing my audio, and I did that yesterday as well. I didn't capture the audio, but I was holding the mic the whole time. It's just annoying because it's the second time in a row I've done that. This happens sometimes with me. I'm incompetent and bad at this. So sorry. Again, no audio, which is a shame. Well, there is audio. I wouldn't just imagine that I just post this. So I'm just like miming it out. If you can mime what I'm saying, I'll help subtitles for a podcast. Sorry, I was trying to think of some ideas, right? And I was googling stuff, and sometimes I don't just straight up Google like ideas, but like I'm talking about format things I want to do in the future, because I like to dream about weird shit. And so I was like trying to find some stuff to spark my imagination, because that's the thing. I feel like I'm a good ideas man. I feel like I come up with good ideas and stuff. But I'm not great at execution. But I feel like my ideas are good and they're there. Not that I'm bad at execution, but there's sometimes I get like lazy or something. I get like, I'll be doing it and I'm at half-assed. Like, I'd be better off giving the idea to someone else and trying to like have them do it who's better than me. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I was trying to find ideas, and one of the ideas that I came across was like, try doing a sensory podcast, as in there is no speech involved. Two people there's two people on the podcast, one being interviewed or something, or having a conversation, and they're not allowed to speak. They're only allowed to communicate through like facial expressions or something. I was thinking, what the fuck? Like, I know thinking out the box and doing stuff weird, but I can't even think of a way that would even be interesting. Like, how there's no community to communicate that. I've thought in my mind before, like, okay, maybe a podcast. It's similar way how obviously you couldn't do a whole episode like this, but it's similar way how I was talking about Caleb Presley's Sunday conversations thing. You could have like a small series where you do short 6-minute style interview things, where maybe you only text each other but you're sitting across from each other or something, or like something like that. But like, what, no communication, or just sitting there being like there's nothing in that. I don't some ideas are just like, maybe they sound good for a half second and then they don't. But some people, the half second is enough and they run with it. Yeah, it's going to be a short. This is the shortest one I've ever done at 10 minutes. But I've got to cap it here because everything's dying, everything's losing battery. I've not got my mic. But I just wanted to talk about that Tommy Fury thing. I want to talk about that tomorrow as well. Because it'll be more interesting because I would have known who would actually have won. So it'll be a lot more. I can actually have things to talk about. I was ashamed. I didn't even really talk about the fact Newcastle lost. I kind of said, oh, you didn't win, but I didn't really talk about the game. But I watched probably 2/3 of it. They looked decent at times going forward, but they just didn't have enough in the final third. And ultimately, you can have all the fans you want there. You can have all this and all that, and you can want it more. United are just in crazy hot form right now, and Rashford's shit hot, and everyone's shit hot, and it's just like, what can you do? What can you do if they've just got the better players? What can you do? But yes, this was my shortest one yet. 66. Seeing 67.
With the kids, and I've got 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. Like,